So what else is popping today?
Tiger Woods is what's popping today.
The tiger.
And he did cause a stir on the internet, and women's groups are after him.
Why?
After he did something a bit childish and immature. Well, he's being called out by a women's empowerment group for his tampon prank at a PGA Tour event. And the ladies are saying, how dare you do this, especially with a daughter at home.
A tampon what?
Let me explain what happened. Now, the CEO of the Women's Global Empowerment Fund, and her name is Kara Sugar. I like her name.
Kara Sugar.
She's called Kara Sugar. She goes on to say,
Porn star.
come on. No, stop it. Take it back. It's a beautiful name. She goes on to say that Tiger Woods' tampon moment was not only misogynistic, but also tone deaf and straight up disrespectful to women and girls all over the world. And this is what happened. So Tiger Woods and his good friend Justin Thomas were invited to play around at the Genesis Invitational in Los Angeles, and after Tiger Woods hit his ball farther than Justin Thomas, Tiger Woods thought it would be funny to hand him a tampon.
Okay.
Yes.
Maybe it's an inside joke. I don't know, but
that's what Tiger Woods said. That it was an inside joke.
Okay.
And then he goes on to say that it was a misguided sentiment, and basically I think a lot of people are now insinuating that perhaps he handed him a tampon to say that you probably hit like a girl, or making some stupid comments such as that.
So why do people care? Like, I mean, what's the big deal? Are you offended by this, or?
I think it's very immature. It really is.
I mean, but that's part of, I don't know, but why are we taking away people's fun? Isn't being immature part of having fun in life? Are you supposed to be super serious every single moment?
I'm not
of the
saying
day?
that you have to be super serious every time, but being tone deaf in this era where we have a lot of technology.
In an era of
and where
sensitive people who are constantly looking to be offended.
No. People are just be a decent person. Is it hard to just be a decent person? Stop with the racial slurs. Stop with the bigotry. Stop with the stereotyping.
How about people becoming less sensitive?
No,
that's also a solution.
How about people becoming decent human beings? How about people just
Are you
becoming
decent?
better people? I am
decent?
very decent.
Are you
people.
sure you're decent?
Yeah, absolutely, 1,000%.
Some people might disagree. It's a matter of personal perspective.
You're the only person who disagrees.
Someone might be watching this and saying, "Oh my goodness, I find her so
very
offensive.
delightful.
I find her so annoying."
She's the sunshine.
Do you know what I mean? So I feel like we all just need to develop a thick skin. And if there's people doing things that we don't, it's like, for example,
No.
how there's LGBT people around, and not everyone's huge fans of them, but you kind of, you live and you let live.
No.
Right? If someone wants to be a certain way, just let them do it. And
No.
as they should for you and the jokes you want to share with your friends. Don't police me.
I think there has to be a hard line, and we have to teach people how to treat other people or how to respect us. And I think it's very important that if you go on to do something and offend someone, apologize for it and don't do it again. Don't be immature, because sometimes, again, Tiger Woods went on to say that it was not intentional, it was an inside joke, and he's sorry that he offended people who got offended by it.
Yeah, have you heard
and
the thing?
That's the thing. That is the thing. When you realize that what you did was not right, then don't do it again.
No,
apologize for it and move on.
The
Some
thing is,
people
I feel
don't
like
know any better. Some
I
people
feel
really
like
don't know any better.
we must resist this emergence of prudes who are out there policing the things that you can say or the things you can do. Because, you might think that, oh, okay, in that instance, it's a thing that I also find offensive. Therefore, let's castigate, let's call out, let's cancel. But tomorrow, the line is going to move to where something that you find comfortable is now going to be the next big offensive thing that you can't do or you can't say. So they're going to come for you next.
If it's a negative thing, I am all for it. Let us keep on canceling each other.
It's a matter of
negative thing, because also there has been the stigma against periods for a very long time. There are cultures where women were sent to sit in the bush until she's done with her period. There's been a lot of stigma around menstruation periods for women. So I think it is not
mean?
When people think that it is something that you should be afraid about,
So,
it is disgusting and
listen to
whatnot,
me.
and it should be normalized.
So as a true feminist, because I'm a person that believes
Please.
that men and women should be treated equally.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, if I don't hold back my punches for a dude, I will not do it for a lady either. And to the ladies, I say, this whole argument of stigma essentially boils down to this is what society thinks about me and my issues. You gotta stop caring.
No,
you gotta stop caring.
No, Fatboy.
You gotta stop caring.
Society's views on a certain marginalized group or people facing a certain element or illness or whatever it is that you want to call it has caused that group to be marginalized, segregated, discriminated against.
Men are facing
abused,
that today. Men are facing discrimination.
I understand, but this is not a conversation of men versus women, Fatboy.
It is.
We are talking about...
It is.
No. I'm not making it that. You are making it that. That is what you always do, Fatboy. You always dilute a situation to include, but also men, this is what goes on with them. We are talking about the periods. It matters, but not in this conversation. That is not what we are discussing. We are discussing women having to be segregated. No, we're discussing periods. Women having to be segregated, discriminated against, made fun of.
So what discrimination do they face for periods?
Hold on. Again, I'm finishing.
People just think they're icky.
Exactly, that's the thing. It is absolutely normal, just like how you pee and shit. Can I say that on air? It's the same thing. It comes out of your body.
My point is,
it is a
Sarah,
natural, but let me finish. It's a natural biological process, and it needs to be, and people need to stop stigmatizing against that, and that is what we're saying.
Okay, I hear you.
Okay, do you though?
My advice to ladies, and I know they're not going to take it, but I'll give it anyway, is to develop a thick skin and stop caring about what men or what society have to say about you, your situation, and your lifestyle. For as long as there isn't like any physical restriction against you pursuing your goals and dreams and aspirations, if it's just a matter of personal opinion.
But it has been.
You know what? In a free world, people are allowed to be. In a free world, people are allowed to be stupid.
You're speaking from a place of privilege when you actually go on to say that women should not let men's opinions, whatever it is, your speech it was.
Yeah.
But did you know, like I said, in some cultures, when women got into their periods, they were sent into the bush and you had to sit there until your period was done. Are you aware that there are girls in the world who are not allowed to attend school because they're on their period? You sit at home, you miss your days of going to school because you're on your period. So again, when you speak that way, when you speak that way, that means you don't really understand or know what the situation is on ground. So when women say that was not funny, I think we should take that very seriously and not do that again, and just be better people.
How about
just like when you to bring in men, when you say all these things that happen against the boy child and women should stop doing it, they should stop doing it.
So Sarah, if men say, okay, we heard what you say, we still don't care, we're still going to make fun of it, then what are you going to do?
We are going to cancel you.
How?
Cancel you completely and make you apologize to the world and make sure you never do it again. What do you mean refuse? What do you mean refuse?
Yeah, what if we refuse? Then what will you do?
Who is going to refuse? Who is going to refuse?
Any man can refuse.
Oh, please. Just the one speaking. Tiger Woods apologized. That means his agent must have called him and said, you better apologize. His sponsors must have called him and said, you better apologize. His partners have called him and said, you better apologize.
How is it that you're taking glee in the power to silence people?
It's not about
It's the most egregious thing. See, be like Kanye.
It's not about
Kanye, and I don't know if you're going to talk about this later, but Adidas has had to go back to Kanye to discuss partnership with Kanye on the Yeezy shoes, because as you know, Kanye also said things that were quite controversial and that offended many people. Now for his part, he's refused to apologize. He's just stuck to his guns.
He apologized, Fatboy.
He said, this is what I think. He has not retracted his statements.
He apologized for the things that he said.
He did not.
He actually
did. He did not. He has not retracted his statements, his opinions on which ethnic group he thinks runs particular industries.
But he apologized for it.
He still holds these views. He's not apologized.
He does hold those views, but he still apologized for them. He said he was sorry.
Essentially, for cancel culture to die, what needs to happen is people need to stop apologizing. Stick to your guns.
That's not true.
You stick to your guns.
That's not true.
If you meant what you said, you stick to it. And if people are angry with you, let them be angry, but let them not stifle you, because free speech, I think, is a powerful thing.
Listen,
we need it in this world.
There is a very thin line between free speech and hate speech. And if we do not catch people and tell them, what you said, I don't.
Hate
I do
speech
not,
does not
but hold
exist.
on. I do not agree with what you said. You need to take that back. It's
Hate speech-
offensive. It is wrong. It is inciting violence.
Hate speech doesn't
It is
exist.
inciting discrimination against a certain group. I think we need to hold people accountable for the
Hate
things that
speech
they say.
does not exist.
Fatboy,
It
yes,
does not
it
exist.
does.
It doesn't.
And you
It does
have
not.
a lot of hate speech within yourself, and you get.
It
and
does
that's
not
the thing.
exist.
When people who go on to say that it does not exist, it's because either one, you're people who just do not know, or do not want to take responsibility and accountability for your actions, or you're people who are
No,
actually,
Sarah.
let me finish, or you're a person who has been marginalized and discriminated against for a very long time, so you're just basically giving back the same hate that you're receiving.
No,
and
it's
that is
just-
not what is going to help us.
No, the thing
That
is,
not going to help us.
I think
people need to be held accountable.
we've coddled people for so long, entertained people's hurt feelings to the point where
It's not funny.
we ascribe violence or violent intent when it comes to a person's free expression of his or her
I
opinion.
think it's very hypocritical for you to say that, because even here in your workplace, there are guidelines. You cannot act a certain type of way. You cannot speak a certain type of way, because if you act that type of way, then
Listen to
you
me.
are going
Listen
to
to
get
me.
fired.
Listen to me clearly.
So, Fatboy,
Listen
no,
to me clearly.
you
Me.
are lying.
Listen
you
to me.
Are
I
lying through your
I am a
teeth.
philosopher. I fundamentally
No.
and absolutely reject the concept of hate speech.
Oh,
it is
please.
purely subjective. Some people are more sensitive than others. I
Mm-hmm.
don't like that we are allowing the most sensitive snowflakes of this
No.
world to dictate what
No.
people can say or can't say.
No.
That's not a world you want to live in.
What we are looking for is a world where people are respectful and just decent human
Respectful
beings.
according to you. So why don't you
Respectful.
respect those who disagree with you and have different ideas?
What do you mean, respect those who have different ideas? I'm very strong on my opinion, just as you are very strong on your opinion.
So,
and
do you
I'm
respect
pushing
them?
for. I am pushing
Do you
for.
respect them?
I do not have to respect what.
Thank
I do
you.
not have
So
to
they
respect
don't have
your
to
opinions.
respect you either.
Exactly. So I am very strong on my opinions, and I am glad, and I like cancel culture, and we need to apply it whenever somebody is going out of line. I don't mean be irrational and irresponsible with it, but when people go on to do things that are actually offense, that are for real detrimental and for real offensive, I think we
Offensive
need to
to who?
hold. We need to hold people
Offensive to
accountable.
who?
The only reason why you do not find certain things offensive is because you speak from a place of privilege, and because you have not faced that kind of stigma or discrimination. Again, you go on
That's
and
not an
sit there
argument.
and you think that
That's not an argument.
because that has never happened to me.
That's not
never
an argument.
happened. Never, ever. It is
That's-
okay for that to happen.
that's not
That
an
is not
argument.
the case. That
That's-
is not the case.
That's not an argument. The
That
privilege
is a
argument
very much. It's a very
doesn't
much
work
an
because-
argument. It
because
is
I have
very
lived,
much an
listen to me,
argument.
listen to me. I have lived in countries where I'm a racial minority. I was born and I grew up in Japan. Not everyone in Japan thinks kindly of foreigners, let alone black people.
Mm-hmm.
And I could be walking down the street and here and there people say insensitive things. And so am I privileged in that situation? No.
You
and
know what?
and even then, I would not say about the people of Japan that, oh, they were saying hate speech. You've got some people saying some friendly things, other people saying stupid things. They're just expressing their opinion, and I respect their right to do that.
To belittle you and berate
so
you.
my power lay in the ability to grow a thick skin and to ultimately not care what people have to say about
And
me.
look at what
and that,
your
and that
thick
is
skin has done for you.
and that is my message
made you
to the
more
world.
hateful, made you
become
more
thick-skinned.
hateful, and made you
Because
a
when you're thick
troll.
skinned, let me tell you something.
And
when
you
you're
think
thick
that
skinned,
it's okay for
when you're
people to speak
thick-skinned-
to you a certain type of way. That is not
no.
it.
But you see, at the end of the day, then it doesn't matter.
What do you mean it doesn't matter?
They can say anything to you. See, you give people power by claiming offense over the speech because now they know, okay, that's what pisses her off. So I'm going to keep saying it. You get it? But if instead it turns out that you don't care what they say about you, you're stronger than them now.
I believe in
have a
the simple.
superpower.
I believe in the simple formula of F around and find out. Okay. It is what it is. Treat people how you'd want them to treat you. And I think that is just it. Let us just move on. Try and be better human beings and just
Wow.
be decent human
I
beings.
feel offended
and
by
be very
everything you've said,
respectful.
Sarah.
And I
I
don't
feel
care.
offended.
You
Thank
listen,
you.
It doesn't
You
matter.
don't care if
you
I'm
listen,
offended.
but you
Why
will
should I
hear
care?
it.
Why should I
But
care
you
if
will-
you're offended?
But you will hear it from me,
Do you
and
see
I
how-
will keep
do you see the
going.
do you see the
but
problem?
you see, the thing is that
You don't care to not offend others.
I will not let you disrespect me and offend me. I will call you out on it.
So,
I will speak on it. I will have you cancelled. I will cancel you.
Can the other person do the same to you
what?
if they deem what you have said to be offensive to them and their sensibilities?
Listen, if somebody came up to me and said,
do you not see how this is a slippery slope?
Listen, the difference between you and I, Fatboy, is that I take accountability for my actions. And if somebody came to me and said, Sarah, what you said offended me, I'll be like, I am sorry that it offended you.
I'm awaiting my apology. You've offended me.
Offended you what?
Everything
you're just
you say.
Being cynical.
Everything you say.
You're being very cynical right now, and you're not taking it seriously.
It doesn't work. That's my problem, and it can backfire.
No.
What? Let me tell you. Today you think an opinion or a statement is benign. Tomorrow it's going to be hate speech, and then they're going to come for you and try to cancel you. Is that the world you want?
That what?
Where some prude somewhere is going to point at you and say what you have said, Sarah, or how you have dressed, or how you behave is offensive. And so now everywhere you go, you got to keep apologizing.
Listen, Fatboy, when you go to Rome, you do what the Romans do. And that is, we grow up in a society that is multicultural. In one place, it's offensive to do one thing. In another place, it's not offensive to do that. Let me finish. It's not offensive to do that thing. But if you come from a place and you are going to and I'm not even here for the whole semantics of trying to win an argument. But say, for instance, if you walk into my house and you're wearing shoes and I'm like, in my house, you don't wear shoes in my house. And then you say, but in my house, we wear shoes. You are walking into a space. Hold on. You're walking into a space and disrespecting another person's culture, morals, values, etc., etc. Now, taking us back to this argument about Tiger Woods, what he did was very offensive. And he makes that joke not knowing, again, like I said, from a place of privilege. Number one, he's a man, never had a period. Yeah. And you make a joke that is very mature, stereotyping some people and just outright outlandish and childish. When people say don't do that, it's actually offensive to do that. You stop and say, like, you know what? I could be wrong. So I'm sorry for doing that. And that is what my argument here is in this situation.
Let me respond to that.
I'm saying when you walk into a space and you trivialize something, a real issue amongst other people, or those people find it offensive, apologize and do better. That is all I'm saying. It's not about who is wrong. But this is my truth, so don't do that.
Stop. But I feel like you've actually made my argument for me. I love the example you gave of my space, my country, my home. But the thing is, when you're dealing with a public space, diversity isn't just differences in skin color. Diversity is differences in religious belief, philosophical belief, political ideology. So if, for example, you are an anti-free speech person who believes speech should be restricted, where boundaries should be drawn between what is offensive and what is not, as determined by you conveniently, you also are living in a society where people don't hold to those same values. And yet you must also respect me and my rights and my choices and preferences. So the public space is there for everybody. You don't own it. You don't own it.
Fatboy.
So you've made my point for me.
No, I have not made your point.
You have.
What are you talking about? We are talking about Tiger Woods and his ridiculous tampon joke. That is what I'm talking about. And I say that because you as a man are also speaking from a place of privilege. You do not know what anything about menstrual health
it
is all
doesn't matter.
about. You don't know the problems. You don't know the stigma. No, that is what I have been talking about, and that is what you do. You always no. Do not make this about hate speech. Do not deviate. Do not gaslight, because that's what you always do.
You have to discuss
principle. We are talking about this situation.
Are you unfamiliar with
We are
principle?
talking about this situation.
Do you not know what a principle is?
Fatboy, we are talking about.
Or does it not matter to you?
We are talking about the situation, and that is why
how do you gauge the situation without appealing to a principle to argue from?
We are talking about a situation where a man made a ridiculous tampon joke. That is what I'm talking about, and that is why
and a harmless
I gave
joke.
An example of you walking into a space and disrespecting that person's space.
What space? It's a golf course. Whose space is that?
I'm done, because that is what you do. You gaslight, you trivialize,
I don't gaslight. I argue from facts and logic.
I do not think that we can move forward with this conversation, and therefore I'm done. Therefore, and I end by saying, when people go on to make jokes or trivialize situations that you are in, please call them out. Teach people how to treat you and how to respect you. Point period blank. And that's it.
All right. Thank you very much. You can treat me however way you wish, as long as you're not physically violent towards me. You can say whatever you want about me or to me, and that is your freedom. If I therefore don't want to be your friend after that, that is also my decision. I believe in freedom. But you can let us know what you think about this. Just you can go to Twitter or Facebook and share your thoughts with us. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, let us know what you think in the comments.